Hey guys, welcome to the Manchester United News channel. Subscribe to the channel to not miss any news, leave your like, and share, you are very important for the growth of the channel. Let's go to the video.
OK, let's get to reports coming out of Manchester United stating that Sir Jim Ratcliffe is looking at the possibility of building a new stadium that will be viewed as the Wembley of the North. Now, we understand that all options are still on the table regarding the infrastructure at Old Trafford, with no final decision made so far. Now, reports claim that a new stadium could cost as much as £2 billion and that Sir Jim Ratcliffe could seek government funding for any investment in the infrastructure. Now, Old Trafford has, of course, been United's home for some time, since 1910, in fact. It is currently the biggest capacity club stadium in England.
What would it take and what would it cost to redevelop Old Trafford, to bring it in line with some of the great stadiums in the world, which it has fallen behind, hasn't it, in recent years, not just because of the lack of investment, just because stadium technology has far advanced since obviously the most recent redevelopments here. I mean, look, coming back to kind of the late 90s, early 2000s, this was the pinnacle in terms of stadiums in anywhere in the world, and others have taken it, new builds. We think of the likes of Tottenham, don't we? And even what they've done just along the M62 at Liverpool in redeveloping Anfield. So Manchester United fans, the club, are aware that obviously the stadium at some point needs a refresh, and Sir Jim Ratcliffe has made it one of his priorities to certainly consider all options with regards to that. Now, the difficulties that have always been in terms of redeveloping and making Old Trafford a bigger stadium, on the one side is the railway line. It's something that has meant that expansion on the South Stand, the Sir Bobby Charlton stand, where the benches are, where the media sit, where the director's box is, where Sir Bobby Charlton himself used to sit and watch the games, that stand is much smaller, noticeably smaller than the others, because the railway line runs really tight to the back of it. In fact, there's a station that pretty much runs into the back of the stand where supporters can arrive. So expansion has always been too difficult on that particular stand, which is why that's one tier and the other three sides are essentially three tiers. Now, on the other side of the stadium, we've got those huge car parks. Now, on a match day, they're absolutely full. Lots of fans driving from all around the country to come and watch Manchester United. But there is a huge footprint there, and that's something in terms of an advantage that United have had over other clubs when you consider, for example, Tottenham and the way they had to get the land to build their new ground adjacent to White Hart Lane. Manchester United have that stadium footprint, which technically is why you can see plans for a new build stadium on that site, moving it essentially into the car park and building it next door, is something that seems to make sense, because the only thing that then limits it on that side is the Bridgewater Canal. So that's the other bit that pens in the site, if you like. The Hotel Football is just next to that. The Bridgewater Canal runs down that side, and it just clips that corner, that kind of north stand, east stand corner, which means that they can only move it so far in that direction. But what they do have here at Manchester United, here at Old Trafford, is a footprint. And what they do have, seemingly, from Sir Jim Ratcliffe, a Manchester United fan who's come in with this promise to look at all options, they have a fan who wants to leave a legacy, not just in what we see on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. And that fan in him has got him excited, because when we think about the PSR rules, when we think about the fact that revenues are at their most strained right across the Premier League, any advantage a club can gain through their stadium revenue, of course, is going to have huge ramifications on what they can spend and the success they can ultimately have on the pitch. Now, Manchester United for 20, 30 years have always had a bigger income than anyone else in England, owing in no small part to having the biggest club football stadium in England. But as other clubs have caught them up and overtaken them, that's where their revenues have dipped in comparison to their rivals, and that's where they've found that advantage they've had for so many years diminished. So to get a stadium where we know the support that United have on a global scale, they sell out this 74,000 arena week in, week out, despite the fact the team haven't been as successful on the pitch in recent years. The fact they still get the fans through the gate means that they can potentially, if they did increase the capacity to 80, 85, 90, even more thousand people, then they could still command that attendance, command that capacity, and ultimately reinstate themselves at the very top of the English game.
Well, we asked fans outside Old Trafford this afternoon whether they would want to see a new stadium built or a redevelopment of Old Trafford.
Definitely this stadium renovated. It's the original and it should stay.
Too much history. Yeah. You can't get rid of it's an iconic ground. You can't renovate that.
Quite happy with where it is. Well, I've just been round as well, and I'm very satisfied with what they're doing.
Yeah, if they can have a new stadium, sounds good. Yeah, but this stadium is awesome too.
It's our heritage. And a lot of history is associated with it. I don't want a new stadium. I think this is the this is the stadium I want to like stay. This should be our main stadium. Yeah.
Would you prefer then to see a new stadium rather than renovating Old Trafford?
I think I would, yeah. Yeah, as long as it's here. I won't want to see, another part of Manchester.
I feel like Old Trafford has too much history and I'd take rid of it. You know, like we were doing the tour and there's so much history behind Old Trafford, like the wall is still there from the original. I think it'd be silly to let it go.
Thank you all for watching. Subscribe to the channel to not miss anything, leave your like and your comment, that is very important for the channel growth. Until the next video.